Hey guys, it is Wednesdays with Chasey Poo. Today I am post-shower and I'm not wearing a shirt and I'm here to make a video for you. So today we're talking about transitioning, like what's transition like in the country that you transitioned in. In the past when we've made this video, I've actually kind of focused mostly on how to transition in Montreal. The thing is that I feel like it's changed so much over the last years. Like when I first did it, when I first started to like realize who I was, and I was like, oh, I need to transition, how do I do this? You used to have to go to the Montreal General Hospital and you used to have to get assessed, and apparently that's still a program, apparently, but they're very like, they're a program for trans people, but they're very transphobic. Anyways, I didn't get into that program because I'm not trans enough, TM. But I was able to just get an endocrinologist. So I think that it's very similar for a lot of people who live in North America, especially in the United States in bigger cities, where you go to therapy, you get a letter from your therapist, you then find an endocrinologist who will prescribe you hormones. So this is like, I'm telling you the path that I went through. I'm not saying that everyone who transitions decides to go on hormones and needs hormones or has surgery or needs surgery or wants surgery, right? So for me, I wanted hormones, so that's the way that I went, and I know most people that I know did that. Now, there are a lot of places that now offer informed consent. There is a place in Montreal that does have this option, but I believe the last time I checked, the wait list was over 2.5 years. Because they only take like, I think it was like, they only take like 3 every month or something. Like, it's ridiculous. The list is long, man. And you can only be on that list, I believe, if you're under 25 or 25 and under, which really sucks because not everyone realizes they're trans when they're like 18 and like, oh, now I can go do this. So that really sucks. But I was able to find an endocrinologist, and that's basically how I got hormones. I have a lot of friends who have gone through the informed consent route, which I think is really great. Although I do think that there are some holes in the informed consent way to do it. So basically, informed consent, you get a piece of paper, it tells you, oh, this is what's going to happen on hormones. Do you consent? Yes, you do. Means you don't need a letter from your doctor. Thanks, beauty. From your therapist, sorry, and you're able to get testosterone or estrogen. Gonna mostly here we're talking about testosterone. So the issue with that is that there are some places that don't require, like they don't really explain, like there's no real assessment. And I'm not saying like gatekeeping a therapist who's gonna make you go to therapy for 2 years and never give you a letter. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm specifically talking about are the guidelines, right? Explaining, oh, this is what's gonna happen on hormones and stuff like that, because I feel like there are a lot of people who don't know some of the changes. Like, you look on these groups on Facebook and there's a lot of basic questions that, yes, you could just Google, but your doctor should have told you about these things. So, and they're very simple things, not like complicated. These are very simple things that a doctor should be able to answer. So I feel like with the informed consent, it's a great way. Honestly, I think it's great, but I do feel like there needs to be some guidelines, I guess, that are more enforced, just so that people understand what they're getting into. Because I feel like sometimes people, they're just like, yes, this is what I want, and they think that they know everything that's going to happen, but they don't. It's really more about telling you what the changes are, but I have seen some forms that are great. Anyways, so basically Montreal, okay, this is the way that you have to transition, okay? I don't know about Montreal, but I know that there are some places in Canada, I'm sure it's happened here before, where the person's family doctor is actually competent in trans care enough to be able to assess the person and give them hormones. I think that's really cool, and my endocrinologist has actually asked me, do you have a family doctor, because I don't need to see you anymore. Everything kind of is regulated, and you should be able to just get your hormones every year now by your doctor. And I'm like, well, I don't have a family doctor, and my hormones aren't actually leveled out right now, so I need you. But, so basically that's it. Anyways, so this video is more about like poking holes into the system, but in terms of how to transition, it's a very basic, like kind of cookie cutter way of transitioning that I know of from my experience, okay? If you want to socially transition, that's different. We did talk about this topic, I think like 2-3 weeks ago or something, about social transition, or was that social dysphoria? I don't remember, sorry. But social transition is super important too, and if you want to get your name changed and stuff like that, in Quebec, you used to have to like, my God, get a letter from your therapist and all of these things. Now you are able Actually, I don't know if you still need a letter from your therapist. I just know that you're allowed to change your name and your gender marker now in Quebec without having surgery, which is amazing, okay? Because when I did it, you had to have surgery. And I was having top surgery anyways, but I had to like go through all these holes because they wanted it to be like, oh my god, I just looked at myself in the viewfinder. I look exhausted. I'm gonna go because, you know, that's it. But that's how I transition. Socially, transition is absolutely a thing and something that is not talked about in terms of transitioning. But I'm hoping that other people on the channel kind of tapped into it. But I do really feel like it's gonna be very similar from Canada to America. What are your experiences? Where are you from if you're not from Canada? Or if you are from Canada, in different countries like Germany and stuff like that. I'd like to know, that'd be really cool. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week. I love you so much. Bye. Oh, and Beauty's here. So, bye.